Hi, everyone, and welcome to day 5 of the InDesign 101 free course, which, don't worry, their live streams are all on my channel. Someone took down day 2. By someone, I mean YouTube. But otherwise, they're all here. I'll just leave them up, and they are long and chatty. I am a chatty Cathy. So that's why I have re-recorded all of these. And when I say I have, I mean in the future, I will have re-recorded all of these. So they're shorter, more condensed, and with timestamps so you can see the exact answer to your question. So we are working on day 5. If you are on my mailing list, you already got the worksheets for today. And don't worry, I will update. In fact, even today on day 5, when I was prepping for today, I updated the worksheets since I sent them out earlier this morning. So don't worry, the final course link will be posted here on September 1 in the description. And then you can download and get the correct version of this. But there were a couple things that I wanted to mention that I didn't. So I think I was just so tied to the 3 boxes on each page. I was like, all right, I can only show everybody 6 things each day and nothing more. So that's kind of what happened. But there are more things that I want to show you. So today we are going over pages, and we're also going to talk about how to save your file because there are many different ways. And depending on your purpose and what you need to do, you are going to vary that. So I'm going to share my screen so we can get started. If you are here, say hello. Let me see. I did not send out an email to remind people I was going live, only because I don't know, 5 days a week is a lot. That could be kind of irritating, especially because I will be going live every day next week for Planner 101. So if you missed that announcement on the second day, which possibly because the video got taken down, I announced that next week, every day, we will be going live together and we will be chatting about Planner 101. So I'm going to update that course next week as well. Same format, if I'm being totally honest. Like I have this vision that I will magically make everything perfect this weekend, but most likely the weekend will come and go like that. And I meant to snap my fingers. I don't know why my snap is very like, you can barely hear it. I'm not good at snapping. I can't do that whistle thing. Anyways, my point is it will all be ready next week. And then I will probably just send out worksheets maybe the night before, maybe not at all. Depends on how much time I have to get those done. And we will go live every day next week, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a 5-day course. So I will probably just leave it like that. Darlene, how are you? Happy Friday to you too. It's kind of a TGIF. All right. So question number 1 in your workbook, if you got my email, is how do you find the pages panel? So this is the most important panel in the whole world. It is the pages panel over here on the right. So when I click it, it does a little flyout menu. I can see all of my pages that are inside of my document. Now, if you cannot see the pages panel, it's possibly one of 2 things. 1, you don't have the right workspace. So if you go over here to the top, you go to Window, you go to Workspace, you have to pick a workspace that has pages already pre-built into that kind of look and feel of what you're seeing on your screen. Essentials Classic always has it. And I forgot to start my little Pro Mouse. I don't know if this really helps, but Window, Workspace, and right here you can see Essentials Classic. There's a couple other ones. I think Digital Publishing. Let's try that. I mean, intuitively, it sounds like that should have pages on the right. Look at that. It does not. So that was wrong. Oh, I guess it has it here as like this tiny little icon. So it kind of has it, but for some of you, especially if you're first starting out, you might want to see actual words on your workspace. So let's try out Book. Book sounds like it might have pages in it, right? So book does, I think it does have pages in it. So it kind of has it here. It has it squished between some other things and squished between other things. I really like, so here's the thing. I always like, my favorite one is always the digital publishing, because this workspace, it can fly in and out of that menu. So let's go ahead, and if it doesn't look right as well, once you have digital publishing selected, it might be because you've made some changes. So you can go down here to reset it. And if I hit reset, it should reset it back to how it was. And it didn't. I don't know why this is so we can do that. So this too over here at the top, if you toggle these little arrows, collapse icons, or make them larger, it will also give you the words there as well. So that is where you find it. Another catch-all is if you go to window, you want to make sure that there's a check in front of pages, and then you for sure will see the pages panel. So many ways to find the pages panel, but it's important because you really can't do any of the other questions in here without it. So second question, what are parent pages? So parent pages used to be called master pages to be more with the times in PC. They changed that to parent pages. Now, if you open older documents, especially mine, you may still see master pages as the default name for the parent pages here at the top. Nope, that says parent. Let's go to an older one, this wellness one. This one has, let's see, I don't really like this toolbar thing going on. There we go. So this one for pages has a header. So I renamed them. So basically, let me open up a new document for you. So if I go to File, New Document, it doesn't matter what the size is. If I open up a new document, when I go over here into the Pages panel, you can see that it has the letter A as a shortcut, and then it also has the word parent as its description. So if I right click this and I go to parent options, I can then change that. So I can change this to a 1. I can change, I think you only get, you get 4 spots for the prefix that you can have. And then I can change this to say something instead of parent. I could call this repeating page or something like that. And I'll say, okay, so now over here, you'll see it says 1, 2, 3, 3, repeating page. And down here, it says 1, 2, 3, 3. And that means parent page 1, 2, 3, 3 has been applied to that page. So again, these used to just say A-master instead of A-parent as the default. So when you see other tutorials or you open an InDesign file, it will possibly still say master if they didn't rename it. And sometimes if I open an old, and I shouldn't say old, but if I want to kind of copy and paste and edit an old InDesign file and I open it, it will still have possibly master in there because that's how it was set as a default. Again, it is simply, it's 2 things. The word parent or master just means it's a placeholder of text. And then 2, it's like a functionality. What are parent pages? So you can always tell parent pages when you open your pages panel. It's like a tongue twister, because as I scroll down, you'll see my mouse will all of a sudden change to a double arrow. And when it changes to a double arrow, that's kind of the divider line. And it's so faint. I don't know why they don't make it more obvious, but it's really faint between the top and the bottom. And I can move this around. As soon as I see the double arrow, I can just click down on my mouse and move this around if I want this area on the top to be bigger or to be smaller. Now, obviously, I only have 1 parent page in there, so it probably doesn't matter. But if I head over here to my, what is this? This is another option. So let's move this. This is just really messy with how it's showing this here. I really don't like this layout. So I don't know why it's doing that. InDesign can be kind of iffy too with the layouts. And this is also part of the reason people are like, I can't stand it. All right. I think that is better. That is not better. All right, there we go. Will it lock in? Lock into the side. All right, whatever. Okay, so over here, we have A parent, B gold, C fuchsia, D, E, A, and F. So I have a bunch of pages up here. And yes, I can repeat my, and you can repeat anything. I could just call all of these A master, F teal, whatever I want. It isn't very helpful though when I go down here and I see what page has been applied. I can see B has been applied, F has been applied. But because I've used A twice, if I see that A has been applied to any of these pages, I have no idea what that means. Which A? I have to hover over it to see the full name, which is A parent. I don't know. I guess when I hit that to make it larger, the little descriptor goes away. All right. So that is a super long explanation on what are parent pages. So parent pages, and I really didn't describe it that well. Parent pages So over here we have gold. So any page, so if I create a new page down here, so let's make this pages panel a little bigger. So if I say new page, all I have to do is hit that plus sign you see down here at the bottom for a new page. And then what I can do for that new page, where's that new page? Where did it go? All right, let's go to, oh, I see. I'm in master pages. So let me go back down here to the bottom. Let me add a page here. So good. That was a good example. That added a new page over to the parent pages at the top, didn't add a new page to my actual document. So you have to make sure that you're in the right section. So new page, this one has a parent applied. If I take that gold that we just saw to apply it to a page, super easy. All I have to do is drag and drop it over on top of here. And so now when I double click this, now I can see that gold banner at the top. It has applied that parent page, which has a gold banner. So in theory, every time I want a gold banner to appear on a page, I just drag and drop that. Same thing. Let's go ahead and add another page. So we have fuchsia over here. So I'm going to drag and drop fuchsia on top of here. If I double click this, now I can see that this has that fuchsia banner at the top. This still has the gold banner because over here, I can see this has a B and this has a C. So that is the concept of parent pages. All right, number 3, how do I switch from a 2-page spread to a 1-page spread? So when I open up Adobe InDesign, I know 100% that 2 things. One, ideally, I'd like people to print out my planners 2-sided and then 3-hole punch them and put them in a binder. So then you have a page on the left, page on the right, page on the left, right? So it looks like a 2-page spread, even though it's a printable, and you can really just print it out however you want, staple it at the top, and just kind of flip each page over, right? So when I make a digital planner, I make a faux digital planner where it kind of looks like it's open, and I put faux coils in the middle, and I put fake tabs on the right and the left. So it kind of looks like it's an open planner. So I would like to see what it's going to look like, usually for those 2 reasons, the printable reason, and also for the reason that I'm going to convert it to a digital planner. That's why I have facing pages over here. This is what I call a 2-page spread. So how do I actually change this? So it's a single page spread. If I go over here to File at the top, and I go to Document Setup, I have this little button checked called Facing Pages. That's all it is. So if I uncheck this, whoops, there we go. I can now see that I now have single pages. Every single page now just stands alone. I don't know what's on the left. I don't know what's on the right, so I have no idea. If you prefer this method because maybe you're giving a lead magnet or you're creating an ebook or something else where you have no idea what's going to be on the left and the right, you might prefer this format. If not, super simple. All you have to do is go to File, Document Setup, select Facing Pages again, and it will automatically face those pages for you. Now you'll notice it does not start that on page 1. Page 1 always ends up being like your cover page. And that's just the same sort of mentality. Like logically, you're going to have a cover page and then you're going to end up having a 2-page spread. So that does confuse a lot of people. And also at the end, there is usually an end page, but you can end like this one. You can end this document wherever you want. You don't have to put an end page at the end, but typically there is always a cover page. I shouldn't say typically. There is always a cover page. There's no case scenario in which there won't be a cover page right there when you have facing pages. All right. Number 4, how do I move pages between documents? So really easy to move pages between documents. So let's say I really think the self-confidence planner and the wellness planner should kind of go together. Like they're one and the same. And I just want one, or maybe there's a page I really like in one that I want to have in the other because I want to add another page. So first of all, you have to have both documents open in Adobe InDesign. I know sometimes with, especially with Adobe PDF, when you want to combine pages or anything, you can just pull it from the document without opening it. That is not the case with InDesign. You do have to have both open on the application in order to move them in between. So let's say I am thinking about moving this page over here. I really like this quote, think positive, be positive, and I want to move it over. But I'm not really sure where I want it to be, so I'm just going to put it at the end. So I do need the Pages panel. Remember I said it was really, really important. That's why we did it first. So you're going to open the Pages panel, and you are going to go to the page that you want to move. So I am going to just select. So if you look at this really close, you can see I have selected 2 and 3. I don't really want 2 and 3. I only want the quote. So I'm going to come back out here. If you click anywhere outside of here, it will deselect whatever you had selected. And then I can just click once on that page. I need to be really careful. Sometimes, because it's a 2-page spread, sometimes it will just automatically pick up both pages. So you got to be careful. Like I said, sometimes InDesign's a little iffy. If you do, in fact, really do want the 2 pages, hit the Shift key. So you can hit the Shift key, and then I can just kind of go on through the line and pick out as many pages as I want. Obviously, Shift, I shouldn't say obviously, if you didn't know this, Shift will start at the top and go all the way to whatever the last page. So I jump to 19, it will select everything in between. So instead of Shift, you can use the command button, or I'm sorry, not the command, I lie, the control button, and you can just hit, oh, you know what? The Pro Mouse is getting in our way. So now you can hit, now you can hit the command, and you can select different pages here and there. So you can see it did not select, let me turn this back on. It did not select 3 or 4 or 6 or 9 or 10 because I was holding down the command button, which has that little Apple button on it. So those are the commands inside of a Mac. I will be honest, I don't know what they are on a PC. I'm pretty sure they're the same. There's only 3 buttons, right? Your Shift, your Option, your Command, your Control. Or I guess that's 4. There's only like 4 options to pick from. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's just make it simple. I'm just going to pick this page right here, page 2. I'm going to right click and I'm going to select Move Pages. Now this is very confusing because it does move the page technically, but it leaves a copy here. So in theory, in my mind, when I think of move, I'm like, we're going to move from this apartment to a new apartment. There's not going to be like all of my furniture here and then a copy of my furniture at another place, right? Like it's all going to move. That's not the case here. It's more like move is more like a copy and paste when you're going in between documents. So if I click Move Page, I get this little dialog box up here, and it has what pages are you going to move, which I already told it. So it's basically just confirming destination and move to. So I actually want you to do this out of order. So the first one is you're going to go Move Pages. I confirmed this is page 2 of this document. That's what I want to go over. Where do I want to move it to? I'm going to hit this little arrow and I'm going to pick a new document inside here. So I want to move it into the Self-Confidence Planner. And where do I want to move it? I'm going to say you can do after a certain page, before a page, and then you give the actual page number over here. And then, or you can say, you know what, I don't know where it should just be at the start of the document over here, or it should be at the end. We're just going to go ahead and throw it, oops, not the start, at the end, because I know like once you put a page into a document, it shifts everything down. And because I have a 2-page spread, I don't want that shift to be all off. So I just want it at the end. Now, this option right here, you will see right before you hit OK, delete pages after moving. Now, this is like my example where I said I move houses. I actually take my furniture and I put it in place. At the old place, the furniture is gone. That's what happens when you hit this delete pages after moving. Now, this is only applicable if, say, you have 2 versions of something, or maybe you're working with another designer. They created some pages for you. You have the master document. You want to remember what you moved over and what you didn't, so you don't accidentally move it twice. That's usually the best case scenario for that. I can't really think of any other scenarios that you would use that. So by default, it will not be checked. So we'll leave a copy of this here. So we're just going to say, okay. And it looks like nothing has happened. You're like, did anything happen? Can you give me a notification or confirmation? I don't know why InDesign does not do that. It just doesn't. For like pretty much everything it does, it never tells you, but that's that'll save you time. So you're just going to assume that InDesign did what it told you to. So let's go over here. And if I drop down to the end, I can now see that my quote is over here. So it did in fact move. And that's how you move pages between documents. Remember, have to have both of those documents open, and then you need to right click on the page with inside of the pages panel. Frustrates a lot of people because if you go in and you're like, okay, Lisa said to do this, and you right click the page, you're like, I do not see that option. You're not going to see the same options when you right click on a page in the actual design as you are inside of the pages panel. So that is number 4. Oh, look, we had a couple other people join. Hey, Lisa Janarski and Angel Jackson. That's so helpful. Good. I don't know what I was helpful on, but I'm glad it's helping. All right. Number 5, how are regular pages different from digital planner pages? There are 2 main ways they're different. So let's open up a digital planner. Do I have a digital planner we can open? Let's see. Let's open up. What do we have? We have, I don't know how I name these things. How do I come up with these names? Oh, let's open the social media planner. So if I open up the social media planner and I open up the digital file, okay. So the answer is they're the same thing. They are, and they are the same thing, like the pages. So over here, let's open this up. On the right, you're going to see that this is page 0.2. And on page 0.2, I have a page here on the left, and I have a page here on the right. And remember, according to the way InDesign is set up, it thinks it's one page. Visually, it's like a faux page, so it looks like 2 pages. It's like magic. I always say digital planners are like magic. If you ever saw the movie The Wizard of Oz, and they go to visit the wizard, and all this smoke comes out, and it looks very impressive, and then you pull back the curtain, and there's this little monkey inside of there, I think, running on a wheel to power the smoke and the music and everything. That's what's happening. You are the little monkey behind the wheel making all the magic happen on the front end. So what is happening on the front end? On the front end right here, we have a coil. It is fake. If I move it around, now this looks less magical, right? Or if I take it away, that's kind of what's happening. You have, looks like you have pages on the right and pages on the left. You do not. You simply have one page according to Adobe InDesign. And on here, I visually made it look like there are 2 pages. I've also made it look like there are tabs around it as well. So that is one thing that is not different at all. Pages, the way I do them, I do a horizontal layout because on the iPad, I wanted to open up like it looks like a fake planner. If it was vertical, there wouldn't be enough space on the right and the left. They'd be really long, weird looking pages. Now, you can make digital planners however you want. You can make it with the big, tall ones where you just have maybe every single page looks like this, where it gets flipped and you can only see the right side of the page. You can make a big one where it's horizontal, like this one, landscape, and this coil is all the way over on the right side. So again, it looks like a big wide page and you can only see the right page. You never see the left page. There are many different ways to do planners. None of them are right or wrong. It's all about style. This is the style that I've chosen. All right, the second way that they are very different is page numbering. So like I said, we are on page 0.2, which you might be like, what? What is page 0.2? And again, there are many different ways that you can label your planner pages and make these interactive with hyperlinks. This is how I have chosen to do it. So if you look over here, you're going to see a dotted line all around there. The reason you see a dotted line around all of these is because these have hyperlinks built inside of them, and they link to different pages inside of this planner. Now, the reason that we have section numbering, like you see, I have 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 2.1, is because I want to be able to freely add and delete pages from this planner as I design it without having to break the links, right? So when you go to a regular planner, let's head back here, a printable planner, you can see the page numbers go, let's open this a little bigger. The page numbers go in sequential order, like you logically would say. I added a page after 3. That page is page 4. I added a page after 4. That's page 5, right? So nothing rocket science about this. So what makes this possible is that I have absolute numbering, or I could have section numbering. Now, if I head over to my digital planner, I have all of those different pages. And the way that is possible is if I go over here to InDesign and I go to preferences, if you can see this at the top left, and then I go to general. Inside of here, I have an option that's called page numbering, and it asks me which view I want. There are only 2 options, absolute numbering or section numbering. So the numbering on the regular printable is absolute numbering. The numbering that you see inside of a digital planner is section numbering. Now, why is my digital planner have section numbering, but my regular planner still has the absolute numbering, even though the section numbering was the default? So what happens is, if we go over here, any planner in the entire world, if I don't actually create a section inside of there, it doesn't know to start a new section. It's not going to be like, hey, you've been doing this for a while, this 1 through even like 1,000 pages. At page 1,001, InDesign's not going to say, hey, I'm going to stick a section in here, right? That's not how it works. You have to actually tell it to put a section in it, which is what I've done for the digital planner. Now, watch this. So if I have my section numbering set up and I go over here to preferences and I change this right here from section numbering to absolute numbering, something, I don't want to say magical happens, something you don't want happens, which is now when I go over here, I have page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, right? Just like absolute numbering works. After 6 comes 7, after 7 comes 8, etc. Now it's broken. So I have broken my digital planner. So here's always the rule. I say, if you ever think you're going to make digital planners or use any of my digital planners from my template shop, always make sure your InDesign preferences over here, preferences InDesign, for general, say section numbering and say okay, because section numbering will only take place if you actually create a section. If you just open up any document or any other template in the entire universe, not even mine, anybody else's, and it has absolute numbering, then it will work just fine with absolute numbering as long as you make sure to not create a section. So that is how regular planners are different from digital planners. And that's why I am teaching that in this InDesign 101 course, because this is all about how to use my planner templates. All right. Number 6, how to use, before we get into that, let's go to, I added some questions, like I told you, that I forgot. How do you add, delete, and rearrange pages? I can't believe I just didn't even add that in here. Okay, so how do you do that? Guess? It is the Pages panel. So inside the Pages panel, if I want to add a page, I think you saw this before. If I want to add a page, I hit the plus sign. Now, I need to make sure that I'm in the right section. So if I'm here at the top and I am in the parent pages section, remember, I'm above that double line. I'm at the top, I'm in parent pages. If I say add a parent page over here, it's going to add parent pages, which is totally fine if I want to make a new sort of repeatable pattern or something I want to be on every single page, a border, words, whatever. If I am inside this bottom section down here, it is going to add a page down to the actual document. Now, here's the other thing too. If I add a page, if I'm on, like you saw right here, if I'm on page 43, if I say hit the plus button right there, it's going to add a page right afterwards. So now everything has shifted. The other thing too is, let's say, I say this all the time, like after June, maybe I want a 4-page spread on, let's set up your June goals. Let's talk about your June budget. Let's talk about your June projects. I need 4 pages for all these things, right? I can right click over here and I can go to insert pages and I can specify that I need 4 pages. So, and it will just confirm again, like we saw before with moving the pages, where do you want those? And what parent page do you want applied to it? So The parent page here is the F teal, which you can see over here. So it's basically just going to take that same parent page of the page that you are currently on, and it'll say, hey, do you want to apply all of this again? Sure, why not? If not, I can go ahead and change this. Maybe I really want that gold one. I could say gold, and I will say okay. And now you can see I have 4 pages with that gold applied. I can change my mind. I can add fuchsia over here instead. So if I double click this, it now has fuchsia. So super easy to add pages to your document. First way, add the plus sign. Second way, right click anywhere in your document. If we want to add it over here after April, insert pages. I'm going to say 4 pages and I'll say okay. And we have 4 pages now after that with that same parent page applied. All right, how do I delete pages? I know, should be obvious. Sometimes this happens on accident, but when you want it to happen on purpose, you can say, you know what, adding 4 pages sounds like a lot of work. Just kidding, forget that. So I can go over here and inside of the pages panel, again, all of this add, delete, move, rearrange, all happens inside of the parent or the pages panel. I can go ahead, hit that shift key and select all 4. Right click and just say delete spreads. It says spreads, but it is still pages. I think it's saying spreads because there's 2 of them. So we're just going to say delete spread. If I want to go over here and I just want to delete a single page, I can go over here and you'll see it doesn't say delete spread. It says delete page because I only have 1 page selected, not spreads, I guess. So now that 1 page has been deleted and now we have 3 blank pages left. So really easy to delete pages. If you don't want to go through the trouble of right clicking so you get that menu for delete page, you can actually take pages. So see how it has both of these selected? I can click somewhere out here and I could select just 1 page, or I can hold the shift key and select both. I can actually take that page and drag it down here. See that little trash can? I can drag it onto the trash can and that will delete it as well. So that's how you delete pages. The second thing is, how do you rearrange pages? So if I say, let's say I just want the whole month to be together at the top, like so right now it's spread out. And so I have February here, I have March over here, but I'm like, you know what? I just want to do January, February, all in order right away. So over here at January, I know January's here. I can see that February's here. I can just drag and drop it. And now January's here and February is right over to the right. So now I have January, February right after each other. If I want to add March, where's that down here? I can just pull it up here, drag it like in that space around it. And now I have January. So we have January, February, and March. And the same thing, I can drag April right up here and it's just going to kind of stick it inside. So wherever you stick your page, it is going to shift everything down, like I said before. So that's a really easy way to rearrange your pages. If you feel like this isn't big enough, you can actually pull this out to be bigger so that you can see more of your pages panel over here. All right, how do you duplicate pages? Really important. So let's say I really like this, whoops, let me move my page panel back a little smaller so you can actually see what's going on the screen. Let's say I really just like this layout, right? Like I like that it has an image at the top. I like that these fonts have been chosen and these colors. I don't want to have to copy and paste and redo it all. Easy way is for me just to right click that page and then head over here to duplicate page. Now, here's the annoying part about InDesign. When I duplicate that page, it's going to stick it at the very end of the document. So if I scroll all the way down, the very last page of the document is that page that I duplicated. That's just how it is. You can duplicate multiple pages at once too. So if I highlight all of these, right click, and I say duplicate spreads, it now has added all of these pages down here to the end. So hope that was useful. If you flip to the very last page of your worksheets for today, you'll see I have given you the file menu, a little snapshot of this. So let's just go over this really quickly in case you don't have it. File save will save your file. So let's talk about how to save your file. There's 2 things, well, actually 3, 4, I'm not even going to count. We all know I'm not good at math. So there is two ways really that you need to save it. You need to save one for yourself, and then you need to save a version for your end customer, right? So when I save this, I am going to always go to File, Save. And when I do Save As, that does give me the option to change the name of this, right? So I can change this to New Name That I Like Better. Okay, we need to file that, but you can type anything you want. That's File, Save At. Works same here as it does in any other program. So once I save that over here, I get a couple options. So I can save it as a 2022 document, or I can save it as that super old IDML version, which is great if you're working with someone who has Affinity Publisher, because they need that. InDesign Template, I'll be totally honest, I've never used it, don't know what it is, don't know how, like what it will do. And that's pretty much true of a lot of the buttons over here on the left that I didn't even touch. I don't use them. I'm doing just fine. You don't need it either. So that's kind of what you're going to do. Now, when you save this, it is only going to save, here's the problem, it's only going to save this file. All of these objects in here are actually links to images in what's called a links folder. So when I open this, I can see that I have a links folder with a bunch of images in it. It did not save that for me. So two things. If I was going to save this because I wanted my friend to work on it, or another designer in my team, or someone I've hired on Fiverr, I need to package this for them so that they have all the images when they open it, so that the file doesn't give them errors. So how do I do that? So I can go over to File and I can go to Package. And when I go to Package, I'm just going to go ahead and hit Package. And then I can save this out as that New Name That I Like Better folder. And when I say that, it is going to tell me I have some missing fonts, which I don't have missing fonts. I think I talked about this the other day, and when we talked about text. If I have my font in here, Amaro Regular is just called Amaro. At the time I made it, it must have been on another computer, or I made it on my other laptop, and it was called something different, maybe Amaro Dash or something. It thinks it can't find it because it is very, very specific. Whether it is capitalized, it is undercase, there is an extra space in there, it will think you have a missing font. So just go ahead. You could find and replace the font. I actually haven't had any luck with find replace font. It doesn't really work for me. I just say, okay, forget about it, leave it. It's going to save everything for me. See, it's creating that PDF, that IDML. It's pretty quick. It depends on how big your file is. This actually takes much longer when I'm doing the daily planner, which has 381 pages. But this is done. And again, you don't get any confirmation. It just looks like it's kind of finished. So if we go over here, I think it's saved in text. Oh, here it is. New Name That I Like Better folder. It's going to create a folder for you. And inside of that folder, you are going to be able to see your fonts, your links, your INDD, that older IDML, and it's going to create a PDF for you. So if I open up links inside of here, I am going to see that the links folder has all of those images. So when I send you images, like I mentioned the other day, I delete everything that says Adobe stock because I can't resell it. Sometimes I forget. If I did, you just got lucky, but that's usually what I do. Same thing with fonts. I will delete all of the Adobe fonts because I'm not a font reseller. But this way, if you're working with a designer, I would highly suggest sending all of this to them. You can just take all of this, highlight it, holding the Shift key, right click, and then on a Mac, just say compress. That will create a zip file. You take that zip file, and that is what you send to the other designer. All right, so you save the file for yourself as INDD, you package it up. In fact, I would advise packaging it up anyway the first time you ever are done working on it, so you can come back to it later. And you package it up so you can share it with others. Now, how do you actually send this to somebody? So if I want to send it to somebody, one, inside of my package, if this is a printable, I'm good to go. The PDF is already done. If I double click this and I show it to you inside of Adobe InDesign, I don't know why it defaults to 277. I think it's maybe because my screen is so big, but I have this file. I can share this file. They're good to go. They can print it out, do whatever, right? So if though it is a digital planner file, this will not work at all. If it's a digital planner file, what you have to do is two things. One, those first two parts work exactly the same. You save it for yourself as an INDD. You save it for yourself to work on later by doing file package, or to share it with somebody else file package. But to send it to somebody, you cannot take the PDF that is created by the file package because that is a print PDF and it won't have any interactive links into it. So you're going to have to go up here to File and you're going to go to Export, which is kind of counterintuitive, but that's the one you need. And when you go to File Export, you're going to get a lot of different options. So under here, under Format, I pretty much only use Adobe Interactive. Adobe Print, I really don't need because when I package it, like I said, it just made that file for me. You need Adobe PDF Interactive. These other ones, again, I totally just ignore them. You can send this as I do send these as JPEGs, but this is really the main one that I use, PDF Interactive. I will actually go into, especially if it is a digital planner, I will go into, like, let's say that folder, the name that I like better, and I will actually save it in here. And when I say save, it will ask me, do you want to replace this? And I say yes, because I am worried that if I don't, and you can just click say export. If I don't, I might accidentally send someone the print PDF, which they will be hugely disappointed in because they were expecting it to actually work. Your file that you got today, if you're on my mailing list, you actually received an interactive PDF as well. The reason you received an interactive PDF is because the file you have has checkboxes and forms in it. Do I have any of these? Here we go, InDesign Day 5. So when I go into your file from today, I can see, put this aside, I can see that it has a checklist. Whoops. Let's go back here. We'll come back to that. I can see it has a checklist. And when I click my mouse inside of here, I can type whatever notes that I feel like writing. So that's why this also had to be saved out as an interactive file over here as well. So this file, now it just opened up, name, let me try to, oh, that's interesting. It was 254% instead of 277. So over here, now when I hit this, all of these tabs are now working because I sent it as an interactive PDF. If I had sent that original file, it wouldn't have worked. Also, because it was a totally different file. But if I did not export this as interactive, it would not have worked for my users. So number 7, how do you create digital planners for Goodnotes? To create a digital planner for Goodnotes, this is exactly the process that you go through. When you are inside of Adobe InDesign, you just have to make sure that you have created links, hyperlinks for your tabs, and that you have done file export and you have chosen Adobe PDF Interactive. Now, remember too, the way I do it, and again, everyone can do it differently. I do preferences, general. I make sure that page numbering says section numbering. And let me show you too why. So if I add more pages, so let's say I want to add more pages to this first section. I need to ask you about your goals. I need to ask you about your experience with the platform. I need to get more data on your stats, right, to start out. I can just right click here, just like we saw before, and I want to insert pages, right? So I'm going to say insert pages, and I'm going to say 10 pages. So you can see all 10 blank pages. Now, this is going to, I can always leave this because I know it's going to put it after whatever page I just clicked. That's just how insert pages works. Over here for parent pages, I am going to see the parent pages with the correct tabs. I want this to stay in the strategy section. So I am going to leave it like that. I'm going to say, okay. And what has happened, make this a little bigger, is now when I have new pages, I have 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, 1.7, 1.8, and 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 2 things have happened. One, it has maintained section 1. The second thing that's happened is I now also know after that dot sequentially what pages are in that section. So I have 10 comes after 9, 11 comes after 10, 12 comes after 11, et cetera, and so on. So that is how I am able to maintain some integrity within my digital planner page numbering. And then over here, I still have a new section that starts 2.1. So whenever someone hits batching, they're always going to go to 2.1. In the absolute numbering pages, if this had been labeled page 7, now all of a sudden adding those 10 pages, this would now be page 17. So the links inside of there, if I had linked to page 7 and I forgot later that I added 10 pages, it would be broken. It would take people to the wrong page when it linked. And that's why I never use absolute numbering for digital planners. I always use the content section numbering that you see over here. So this can still go to 1,000,000, right? Like I could still put 1,000 pages in section 1. So I know then which pages come in sequentially, but only within section 1. And then my actual links still work because I linked that link to page 2.1, which is the start of that section. So once you start working a little bit more in digital planners, this will make way more sense. And you'll notice it'll be just so much easier and like better. And it's just a greater design. And that's why I love InDesign. All right. Does anyone have any questions? I know I did a lot of talking. Okay, Darlene. Silly question. There are no silly questions. I don't have a program to open and use a digital planner. How do you flip through pages and sections as a user? Great question. That's not a silly question. You can actually just do it inside of Adobe InDesign or Adobe Acrobat.
Sorry, could you say that again?
My Apple Watch. So annoying. All right. So I can just hit Facebook. I can hit Instagram. I can hit YouTube. It will automatically work inside of Adobe Acrobat on my computer. Now, can I write on it? Probably not because I don't have anything to annotate it. But if you don't have Goodnotes, you can use this in here. You can also use it in Procreate. Inside of my Samsung, I have a video on Samsung, how to open up a digital planner on your Android. And I go through about 4 or 5 different applications on there as well. And you, for the most part, for the Android ones, I think 2 or 3 of them were free. And then the rest you paid for. So Samsung Notes automatically just starts working for free. On your iPad, if you have Adobe Acrobat and you don't have to have the paid version, you can open this just like I have Adobe Acrobat open here on my computer. And when I start clicking around, all of those links will work as well. You just won't be able to write in it. So hope that answered that question. And I think that's it. That's a wrap for today. I know it was really long. I might end up splitting day 5 into 2 parts because I had so much stuff. But we also know I am extremely chatty. So that could be it as well. All right. So I do have a giveaway. I want to give it to somebody. If you are still here, say hi. And hey, Google, pick a number between, hey, Google. See, now it's not listening to me. Pick a number between 1 and 5. 5. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lisa Donarski, if you were still here, you won today's giveaway, which was the vendor Rolodex. This is a good one. This is probably the best one that everyone wants for a subscription box. Like, where do you get all that stuff? Where do you get books? Where do you get tissue paper? Where do you get knickknacks to give away? How do you find wholesalers? So that is inside of Planner Pixies. So just drop me a note at lisa@prettyfabulousdesigns.com. And I will send that to you. And if you want instant access to all of the giveaways from this week, you can join Planner Pixies. You get unlimited downloads. We can hang out every day inside of Circle. And I will see everybody tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. I am going to talk to you about the webinars. So I was doing the tech webinars like for a while ago. And then I had this great plan. I'm like, I'm going to do these every month. It was a lot to do them every month. So I don't know if I can do them every month, but I can for sure do them this season, if that makes sense. So September, October, November, and December, I have those all planned. We're going to go in more detail. If you are still here, I will give you a little sneak peek. Hold on. And by sneak peek, I mean, let me share my screen. You're going to see a weird picture in picture. I had this open on my InDesign file. There we go. I was trying to update, no, that's not it. I was trying to update the InDesign workbook for you, and I added it into the workbook. Here we go. So we'll go into more details on this tomorrow, but here's a sneak peek. We're going to create a sticker sheet in InDesign in September. You'll get a workbook, you'll get a checklist, and you'll also get the template if you are inside of Planner Pixies. Another great reason to join. October, we're going to design a coffee table book. Same thing. You're going to get those layouts, checklists, all the workbook, everything inside of Planner Pixies. November, we're going to brand an Instagram carousel because I tried making one the other day and I don't even know. I found a template somewhere in Photoshop. It's actually much easier in InDesign because then it can truncate those into like individual JPEGs for you, like we saw before. December, we are going to DIY Christmas greeting cards. So that's a special one because I'm actually going to tell you where to buy supplies and everything else so you can get your Christmas cards all done and sent out by yourself at home. So I will see you tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit more about that, how those work. And I hope everybody is having a wonderful and fabulous day. And I will see everybody later. Oh, Darlene. Oh, good. I'm so glad you're excited to see this back. Lisa, sorry, I couldn't figure out how to chat and my kitty decided that she knew how to do it and it kicked me to another video. Oh no. All right, everyone. It's Friday, so have a great weekend. I'll see you tomorrow at noon. And remember, come back here. Make sure to hit the subscribe button and that little like bell notification so you get a notification when I go live. Because next week we're going to do this all over again, but it's going to be Planner 101 every single day. So super excited.